Hello everybody, welcome back. Today I'm showing you how to bake soft and fluffy scones. I'll also share a few simple tips to make sure your scones come out perfect every time you make them. The ingredients we'll be needing are listed in the description box below. So we'll be needing flour, baking powder, salt, sugar, cold butter, almonds, and room temperature eggs. The first step is to preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius. Now let's mix the dry ingredients together, and always sieve your dry ingredients. It makes the flour lighter and helps your scones to rise better. And also sieving the dry ingredients adds air to the flour and breaks up any lumps, which gives your scones a softer texture. So now mix your dry ingredients to make sure they're well combined before we move on to the step number 2. Now step number 2 is to add your cold butter. Your butter must be very cold. You can break it in pieces or grate it for easy mixing. So what you're going to do is to rub in your butter with your fingertips until it looks like breadcrumbs. Using cold butter is the secret to soft and flaky scones. So after a while it should look like breadcrumbs, like how I'm showing you right now. Now let's set this aside and move on to our wet ingredients. So in a separate bowl we're going to mix eggs, sugar, vanilla essence, and almonds. Your eggs must be room temperature. Using cold eggs can chill the butter, and also it will result in slow rising process, making your scones denser, not fluffy. So your eggs must be room temperature, so take them out of the fridge a few hours before. And using almonds in place of fresh milk, the natural acidity in almonds reacts with baking powder, creating bubbles that help the scones to rise and giving them a light fluffy texture. So you must always opt to use almonds or sour milk in place of the fresh milk. So now the fourth step is now to mix the wet ingredients to dry ingredients. And you need to be very careful in this mixing. Be gentle and do not over mix. Over mixing your dough will result in tough scones instead of soft. So over mixing develops gluten in the flour, which makes the scones tough. So do not over mix. The less you mix, the softer your scones will be. Then now the fifth step is to transfer the dough to a floured surface, and we will flatten out our dough. I do not recommend using the roll out your dough. I recommend just you patting down your dough softly and gently. But if you're going to use a roller, make sure that you are not hard on the dough. You are actually gentle, and so that you don't take out all the bubbles or all the air out of your scones, which will help your scones to rise and become fluffy and softer. So now, after rolling out our dough, we're going to cut into our desired shape. Here I'm using different type of shape. I'm just testing out which one comes out nice, and then I'll choose the one to use, and I end up choosing the smaller one, the round smaller one. Here's an important tip. The thickness of your dough when you roll it out must not be less than 2.5 centimeters. So you can see how thick my scones are when I have cut them out. This will help your scones to rise, to have a better shape, not to be flatter, but to actually have a better volume that you can cut and put jam or butter in between. And here are my scones done, well cut. Now the last step before I bake my scones is to egg wash them. I'm using 1 egg and 2 tablespoons of fresh milk, and I'm just going to brush the egg wash on top of the scones to brush off the flour, and they will just look shiny, they will just look yummy, they will look attractive. And now we are going to bake the scones at 180 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes. And here's our scones. They're ready. They're smelling so good. So I hope you guys gonna give a try to this recipe. These scones were very soft, they were very fluffy, and the smell filled the whole house. So please leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know how it turned out for you, and I would love to hear from you guys. Thank you for watching. Bye. Ciao!